It's kind of fun when you have an excuse to make a mess at work and get away with it. But that's the excuse we have this morning because the Chattanooga Zoo is here. Jake Cash, Cole Abbott, and Tommy Prickles, who is making a mess on the floor. But that's okay.
He's a messy eater.
He's the star of the
messy.
show this morning
Yes,
because the Cape of Africa exhibit opening August 31st, right?
Yes, our entirely new Cape of Africa exhibit. It's a totally new zoo section that includes Cape porcupines, like Tommy here, as well as servals, which is like a small African cat, and warthogs. The Chattanooga Zoo has never had warthogs before, and we got them in just a couple of weeks ago, so
Really?
super exciting stuff.
You think about the Lion King when you think about a warthog. Isn't that the Hakuna Matata song?
Yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
the li- isn't
Pumbaa.
that- Yeah, that's
They're
something.
much bigger than you would expect, though.
Really?
Pumbaa looks small compared to Everett.
Really? Everett is ours name?
That is his name.
We have just one
Yes, yes,
for
at the
now.
moment.
At the
Yeah,
moment.
we're gonna get some female as well, some female warthogs as well to keep him company, but
Yeah.
right now it is just Everett.
Okay, so we'll talk about Tommy, but since you mentioned Everett and being big, how big is he, Cole?
I want to say he's around like 170-ish pounds,
I
but
read
I'm not his keeper.
230
maybe
on
it's 170
the
kicks,
report.
230 pounds.
Yeah. I read
Something like that.
230 on the
230.
report.
He's
Yeah.
big.
Okay,
he's
so-
bigger than the largest cat we have at the zoo. He weighs more than our largest cat.
Wow. Now, wild boars are aggressive. They're dangerous things. In the wild, would a warthog be aggressive?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
They're going to try to defend their territory, eating babies they have, stuff like that as well.
Now,
They are-
Tommy, oh, go ahead, what?
Well, it was just they are kind of a prey species, but they're able to defend themselves with their tusks. They're known for like diving into burrows backwards and then sticking their tusks out to like fend off predators.
Really?
Yeah. Our warthog, he is from another zoo in New England originally, so he's grown up in zoos, so he's pretty chill.
he's pretty sweet.
docile. Yeah, he hangs out in his mud puddle most of the day. He's pretty cute, I think.
Naming
but-
him Everett was a guarantee that he was going to be kind of nice and sweet.
Yeah,
For sure.
he's
That's not a
Southern
very
gentleman.
aggressive sounding
Yeah,
name.
he's a Southern gentleman.
Now,
for
Tommy
sure.
Prickles, he's nice and sweet too, but you do have to kind of give some space when you're talking to Tommy,
yeah,
right,
for
Cole?
sure. Yeah, he has his people that he's used to. We've been working with him since he was a baby. He doesn't mind strangers, but he is kind of skeptical around them just because he doesn't know people very well.
Yeah.
He has a very good sense of smell. We think that's probably how he can tell people apart.
So he looks really big, but Tommy's wife is even bigger.
Correct. Tommy's around 30 pounds. Pookie, his wife, is around 40 pounds.
Who named her?
A family actually named her after their grandmother.
Oh, well, that's sweet. Okay, that's sweet. So what is he eating?
He is getting peanuts and sweet potatoes right now. They're some of his favorites. And then we also have corn for him, but we tend to save that when it's time to go home because he doesn't really love to go home, and that's a high value reward for him.
Okay, so the Cape of Africa, that's like the tip of South Africa, right? That's what we're
Right,
talking about.
Exactly.
So what would he in his natural habitat look like? What would life look like for
So
him?
they're going to be out there on the savannas, the grasslands. They live in family groups like this. So him, his wife, and his children, they're monogamous. So they're going to stay together for life and continue having babies. And the babies will eventually go off and start their own families. They dig small burrows. They're very good at digging. That's how they get most of their food. They're going to dig it up for like root vegetables and stuff like that. He actually just dug at the floor right there.
Oh yeah, there he's trying.
Digging at my shoe, trying to tell me, hey, I want more food.
Yeah.
So they're going to live in small burrows like that. Their main predators are going to be large cats like lions and leopards, but they're very good at defending themselves, obviously.
So he's a vegetarian.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you mentioned they're in the savanna of Africa where all the tall grass is. Is that one of the reasons, do you think, for his prickles?
Yes, so all of these tall hairs right here and the coloring, the black and white being broken up like that, help him blend in with the tall grasses and the shadows that come through them.
Interesting. Okay, the quills, is that what you call them? Quills? They kind of serve their purpose because there are 3 layers of them,
Yes,
right?
they have different types of quills. So these longer ones, this mohawk, and then the really long ones back here at the back, those are called sensory quills. They act like a cat's whiskers. They're going to let him know if anything's around him because they
Okay.
don't have the best eyesight.
Right.
Then they have their guard quills, which are the really thick, sharp ones down there in the center. They're going
doesn't
to
want
do
you to see.
all of the damage. Those are the ones that really hurt. And then right in the center of those guard quills, down here in the very middle, there's some hollow ones called rattle quills, and when he shakes those together, it sounds like a rattlesnake. There aren't any rattlesnakes native to the area that they live, but that's a very scary sound for animals in general, so hearing that, predators are going to be like, oh, I don't want to mess with that, I need to back off.
So with the quills being in the back, the ones that he would use to defend himself, does he run backwards?
Yes, so when he's threatened, he's going to fan those quills out, and they can actually fan all the way up here to his front legs, his shoulders. So they
Wow,
pretty
like
much
a
cover
peacock.
his entire body, yes. And then he can run very fast backwards into anything that's approaching him.
How fast can he run?
We can outrun them. They don't run that fast, but
Okay.
running backwards, you would be surprised at how fast they can move.
Yeah. So would he be able to hide in those savanna grasses, and then if he saw something, he could kind of ambush?
Yes, they're going to hide very well. They're not really going to ambush. It's more like something's going to try to ambush them, and then they're going to have to defend themselves. And usually, mom and dad will kind of put their quills out and stand head to head and kind of circle to keep the baby safe in the center,
Right.
while things are approaching. And their quills aren't barbed, so they're not going to like stay in you if they get stuck. But they all do have a bunch of oil on the ends of them that collect different bacteria and stuff. So if you get quilled by it, you can actually get a pretty nasty infection. And
wow.
there have been big cats that have died out in the wild from the infection they get.
All right, so Jake, with the opening now of the Cape of Africa, is it going to look different when we go to visit the zoo?
Yes, it's right at the front of the zoo, so it looks very different. It's our $4 million expansion, so it's the most money we've ever put into a single expansion. And I think it really shows when you come in. It's a very immersive experience. We have a waterfall, 2 waterfalls actually, a stream that creates kind of an ambiance. Everything uses like classic African like iconography and imagery and colors and sounds and textures. So it is like an authentic immersive experience, which is really
Wow.
cool. And I forgot to mention one of the species actually that's going to be in it. Our Aldabra tortoises are going to be right at the front as well. They're huge tortoises. They can get up to 500 pounds or so. They can be 4 feet long, and they can live up to 150 years. And ours are like, I think 9-ish. They're around that age. So they have a long way to go, which is really cool. So that'll be really fun for people to see as well.
I heard a thing on the radio coming into work this morning about a crocodile that's 123 years old.
Oh, really? Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
They were
that is
talking about
crazy.
something that happened when it was brought to this particular habitat somewhere, I think in Africa actually, in 1903. I mean, it's insane.
Crazy to think about.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So for this tortoise being living to 150, what will the world look
Right.
like?
Like they will outlast everyone at the Chattanooga Zoo right now, which is kind of crazy to think about, but they will.
Yeah. So when you get your tickets now to come to the zoo, and by the way, don't forget it won't be long before they're here talking Boo in the zoo.
That's right. Yeah, Boo in the Zoo coming up.
Is the Cape of Africa just part of it now, not an extra ticket?
Yeah, just part of it. Yep,
Okay.
just part of your normal general admission ticket. And if you get tickets online, you save $3 per ticket.
Oh,
So
that's good.
chatzoo.org.
Okay. Pretty impressive that our little zoo has gone through such expansions in the last 20 years, isn't it?
It's come a long way over the decades,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Darty Long, the president, is to thank for that, really. I mean,
Yeah.
her leadership and her vision has been
She loves
huge
what
for
she
us.
does.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You were a good boy. You can always learn more at chatzoo.org. Be looking for those Zoo and the Boo dates. They'll be here before you know it. And go pay a visit to Tommy and Pookie and the rest of the exhibit there at the Cape of Africa. Thank y'all.
Thank you.